There was a small patch of rotting flesh on the forehead with lank hair attached to it. The 2 front teeth were crooked. Bob Farmer. So yesterday I did a video titled Who Put Bella Down the Witch Elm. Now this video was in regards to the folklore behind who put Bella down the witch elm, but we're going to go over the actual facts of the true portions of this story. So the quote that I just read was from Bob Farmer. He was one of the 4 boys that found Bella in the hollowed out tree, and because they were so scared they were going to get in trouble, they made a pact together basically that they weren't going to tell anybody that they found this skull. Now while they had the opportunity with the skull, they decided to stick a stick down the hollow tree and try to pull the skull out, and they did, and then they put the skull back. The youngest boy actually ended up telling his father what him and his friends found. The police came and they began their investigation. During the investigation, the police were kind of stumped. There wasn't really a lot to go off of. They were waiting for the coroner's report to come back, and in a neighboring city next to Hagley, it's called Birmingham, there was a message scrawled on a wall, and it stated, "Who put Bella down the witch elm?" Now, Dr. John Lund was the coroner at the time, and he was the one that everybody was waiting for his report to come back. Before his death, he actually admitted that this particular case is one that haunted him his entire life and his entire career, which is actually quite sad if you think about it. He was reported stating things that he believed she was placed in the tree after her death, as rigor mortis wouldn't have allowed for her body to be placed in the way that it was. He was never able to identify her, even by her teeth, which were super distinct. Like, her teeth were apparently overlapping so much that they should have been able to identify her because of the dental records. However, this was all during the World War II era, and they really just didn't have the resources, so they weren't even able to get any DNA off of her skull. After Dr. John Lund was done doing the coroner's report on her body, the police actually donated the body to a university, and the university magically lost her body and her bones, and they just say that she, poof, disappeared. Now, obviously, again, this was during World War II, so there was many more pressing things for people to be worried about during this time. So it was quickly a lost cause for unidentified Jane Doe. A lot of people just forgot about her. But then, during this forgotten message, a mysterious "Who put Bella down the witch elms" started to show up everywhere in Hagley, where her body was actually located. Unfortunately, again, all of these leads, all of these different signs, these mysterious "Who put Bella down the witch elms," they led nowhere. The police had no idea what the connection was. They really didn't understand, was her name Bella? Like, what was happening here? But they never really got to the bottom of it, because each lead led to a dead end. Really. That is, until a local journalist received a letter stating, and I quote, "The only clues I can give you are that the person responsible for the crime died insane in 1942, and the victim was Dutch, arrived illegally in England about 1941. I have no wish to recall any more. Signed, Anna." Now, the local journalist and the police ended up getting together and figuring out who this Anna was. Supposedly. They ended up meeting, and that meeting was never really made public. They were like hush hush about it, which you would think if they wanted to actually find out what happened to this woman, they wouldn't have been, and they would have released that information so that maybe someone else could have came forward. Alas, they did not. Many years down the line, it was actually discovered that the person's real name was Una Hainsworth, who stated her husband came home one night white-faced and agitated sometime in March or in April of 41. Very descriptive, Una. Thank you so much. Great memory you have there. The husband, which could never be me, stated to Miss Una that he was at a local location with a Dutch piece and Von Ralt when the Dutch passed out during their ride home. She never woke up, leaving him haunted by her death in Wytches Elm. Her husband ended up passing in a mental ward in 1942, a year before her body was discovered by Bob Farmer and his friends. These are the actual facts surrounding who put Bella down the witch elm. Now, since then, there have been a lot of different skeptics coming out stating that they think that she was actually a victim of witchcraft. A lot of people were saying that she was a victim of murder. They believe that she passed due to suffocation because of the type of fabrics that were found in her mouth. However, because the kids admitted to utilizing a stick that had fabric on it and they grabbed her by her teeth, they're not able to conclude that it was actually suffocation, which was the initial. And since her body is nowhere to be found and just poof, disappeared at the university, there's no possible way for us to go back and redo their findings from Dr. John Lund. So a lot of people are like, maybe it was witchcraft. Maybe that's why her bones disappeared. Other people are stating that it might have been some cult activities. Some people are thinking that maybe she fell down that tree and that's just what happened. I will get into all of the different type of conspiracy theories surrounding who put Bella down the witch elm. However, I wanted to give you guys the straight facts first. So there's a lot of, in my opinion, oversight by the police and a lot of kind of pushing this case to the side, in my personal opinion. It seems to me that because of World War II and the things that were happening during that time, that this case did not take precedence, and they weren't really worried about it after speaking to Una, who signed as Anna, especially because she was told to be a Dutch piece, which I did look up. It's kind of like saying that she was a schmex worker. So I think that a lot of people just didn't really want to find the answers. With that being said, we're going to dive into all of the different conspiracy theories around this. I don't believe that this person just fell down the hole. If anything, I think Schmurder is probably a really good option as to what happened to her. But we will get there. However, you let me know your thoughts about these facts in the comments, because I think that the whole case is pretty wild, and I feel really bad for John Lund that he ended up having a case that could haunt him for the rest of his life, because there were so many factors that just ultimately made it really difficult for him to find any type of answers for this victim. Anyways, love you guys. Have the best day ever. Remember that you can submit your spooky, scary ghost stories to the link in my bio. It is my email, or via DM. And you can go follow all of my other accounts. I have YouTube, I have Instagram, I even have Lemon8. So go do that, do all the things, and I hope you have a wonderful, amazing Friday.